My name is Emma and welcome to The Message Today. We've got a great programme for you with special guest Chip K, music from Brightline and our usual Vox Pops, quote of the day with Lauren and facts and stats from Adam and Destiny. Today we're going to be looking at the topic of purpose.
As usual, if you have any questions from this session, why not write them down and talk it in your groups with your teachers afterwards. If you are personally struggling with anything we talk about, please do think of an adult you trust that you can talk to ASAP. This might be a parent or guardian, a youth leader or a member of staff at your school. To open up this session, let's watch this video from Soulbox.
I'm excited about this track though, Ben.
Yeah, me too. I think we should like
on the thing.
Yeah, but when you have more hip hop, don't you need like sounds like scoop, scoop, skrrr.
Okay.
Oh, you missed it.
Wait, I'm coming now. Okay, is this it?
Yeah, this is it. Here it comes.
Yeah, coming straight through with the interlude. My name's just John, let me introduce
It's
his...
my pal Ben and bro, it's okay, I'll say my own name when we're in the booth.
Wait, stop. Rewind that. We agreed that you wouldn't get sidetracked. You seem confused and I don't approve, so it's time to get stopped with the side chat.
Yeah, but you said that I can do me. Can I speak to the people and tell them my story? Can I take a minute? Just give me a second to finish my sentence and tell them about me. Jeez.
What's with the tears? Me then you, that's clear. Ben, just use your ears.
I hear.
Sammy isn't better than you.
Not true.
I'm here. Don't interfere.
But we used to be about rap, split 16s on a hip hop track.
Don't you remember our chat? Music for everyone, not just hip hop rap.
Yeah, music for everyone. But can we just see if this works?
Fine, you go first. Just get going and spit your verse.
Okay, as a kid I thought life was the best. No stress, I guess it was blessed. Yes, we struggled for money but never went hungry. Let me get this off my chest. My parents divorced, I think I was 4. How could I forget it? How could I ignore?
But that was before. What about now, Ben? Tell me more.
Now I'm 24, I got many stories and I found my faith and I'm better for it. And that don't mean that I got it all together, cause I've been through the weather and I've been through the storm. And I have many regrets that I just never addressed. My mind is telling me give up, you'll never be nothing. Now I'm on the fence, finding my voice. I've been growing to a man from a boy. I've been maturing and having a choice, and that is something that many avoid. Life ain't a toy, it's a gift. We exist, I wanna live. I wanna be the one to play my part. I wanna be the one to give it everything.
So what's your point?
I wanna know what my worth is. I wanna know I'm not worthless. I wanna look at myself in the mirror, see something that's better, and really believe I got purpose.
Yeah, but nobody's perfect.
That's a lesson I'll always be learning. Many people put up with the burden, sick of this life, they're stuck in the circuit.
Mate, that's deep.
I did it, I went there and so did my sister, it's nothing but pain. Believe me, I've been there and eating disorder, I've been through it all and there's nothing to gain. I'm speaking the words that so many think, deep in the world, close to the brink. I got a pen and a pad and it's all that I have to persuade you to think.
JF Kennedy said this: efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. Being in education, you guys know all too well that you need to work hard, throw in tons of effort and have the courage to step out of your comfort zone every now and again. But what we think JFK is saying here is that purpose is required to get you to the finish line of success, but it will also help you to enjoy the ride. We asked a few students what purpose meant to them, so let's take a look at their response.
Justin Bieber's album. Having a point. That tour was great, by the way. I loved that.
How do you explain purpose without using the word purpose?
Purpose is like the calling, that you have for your life, like what life is all about.
I guess it's how, what duty you feel like you have, or that can be like in a work environment or just in a team environment, like just what duty you have.
Like a meaning, purposefully being somewhere. Purpose, something that has a meaning.
Kind of gives you that hope, because when you have purpose for your life, you're not just kind of doing random things for no point. You know that there's kind of like a higher meaning to what you're doing and that you've been called to something more that has importance.
Well, everybody definitely has a purpose in this life, I think, whether that be to protect your loved ones or to be the next millionaire who invents the new invention that absolutely thrills the world. But everyone indeed has a purpose, and I think it's the reason for why you're doing something.
A couple of weeks ago, we looked at the topic of self-esteem. Self-esteem is how you think and how you feel about yourself. It's important to feel good about yourself. Sometimes your confidence can go up and down depending on the situation that you are in, which can affect your self-esteem. But working on having a good self-esteem is a great foundation to find your purpose in life.
I'm a massive Marvel fan. Are you? I can't tell you how many times I've watched all the movies at home because I never get bored of them. Daniel, who's your favourite Marvel character and why?
No, that's easy, Emma. My favorite Marvel character has to be Black Panther, King T'Challa, Wakanda forever. I love him because he takes care of his people and his royalty, and he has a solid team around him to change the world.
Yes, Daniel, I have to agree with you. Black Panther is my favourite. Why? Because he's so powerful yet humble. Sadly, on the 28th of August this year, Chadwick Boseman passed away with cancer. Chadwick's University Howard reacted to this by saying, "It is with profound sadness that we mourn the loss of Chadwick Boseman, who passed away this evening. His incredible talent will forever be immortalised through his characters and through his own personal journey, from student to superhero. Rest in power." The very next day, the tweet in which his family announced his death on his Twitter account became the most liked tweet ever, with more than 6 million likes in just under 24 hours.
Miles Monroe said, "The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life without purpose." Chadwick Boseman was well loved and admired, and sadly, his life was taken too early, but Chadwick knew and understood the power of purpose.
Finally, I thought of Ali in the middle of the yard, in his elder years, drawing from his victories and his losses. At that moment, I realized something new about the greatness of Ali and how he carried his crown. I realized that he was transferring something to me on that day. He was transferring the spirit of the fighter in me. He was transferring the spirit of the fighter to me. He was transferring the spirit of the fighter to me. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you. God says in Jeremiah, "I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." Graduating class, hear me well on this day. When you have reached the hilltop and you are deciding on next jobs, next steps, careers, further education, you would rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose.
Bishop T.D. Jakes makes it really clear. If you can't figure out your purpose, figure out your passion, for your passion will lead you right into your purpose. Today's special guest is full of passion, and he uses his passion to fulfill his God-given purpose. You're gonna love him. It's Chip K.
Hey everybody, my name is Chip Kendall. I'm a recording artist and I live here in the UK. And I'm really excited today to be talking to you about purpose. So, dictionary.com defines purpose as the reason for which something exists or is done or made or used. It's an intended or desired result, end, aim, goal, and its determination, resoluteness. The Urban Dictionary puts it a little bit more simply. It says purpose is the force that drives us. You guys have already seen the clip of Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther himself, quoting out of the Bible in his Howard University speech, Jeremiah 29, verse 11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." You know, you've probably heard this before, but the two greatest days of your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. Now, I know you guys as teenagers have a lot of pressure on your life. There's so much anxiety and scrutiny to be perfect. And I just want to help you out today by telling you, you don't have to be everywhere all the time. You don't have to be perfect. But it is important that you have some idea of knowing your purpose. There's a difference between living life accidentally and living life on purpose. So I want to help you out today by giving you my top three ways that you can live on purpose. You ready for this? Number one is intentionality. It's so important to make healthy choices in life. I'm not just talking about which cereal you have in the morning or which clothes you put on. I'm talking about the voices you choose to listen to, the people you choose to follow on social media, the way that you listen to what your parents have to say to you or your teachers have to say to you. You can live life with intentionality. That's number one. Number two is discipline. It's really important for you to find your own rhythm that works for you. If purpose is the same as reason and meaning, then you've got to know why you're doing what you do. And the final thing, number three, is focus, because that verse we talked about before calls it a plan. There is a plan for your life. Purpose is a plan. I believe as a Christian that God designed you with a purpose in mind. And the only way to find out what that purpose is to get to know Him. It's one thing to know who you are, that's identity, but it's a different thing to know whose you are. I believe that you belong to God. In the same way you might design something or create a beautiful masterpiece, a work of art, God has designed you with a purpose in mind. My prayer for you is that you find out what God's plan is and that defines your purpose in life. If you guys want to follow me on social media, it's really easy to find at Chip Kendall on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. I would love to see you there. But for now, enjoy the rest of this show.
Did you know that around 40% of UK students feel like their life doesn't have a clear meaning or purpose? I had my exams cancelled due to COVID, and a lot of my friends were like, well, what was the point of the last 14 years of school? Whereas some people may experience imposter syndrome where they feel like a fraud or that they don't own their own achievements.
A 2010 study published in Applied Psychology found that individuals with high levels of eudaimonic well-being, in other words a sense of purpose, control and feeling like what you do is worthwhile, tend to live longer. Another study showed that those with a sense of purpose tend to have positive health outcomes such as fewer strokes and heart attacks, better sleep and a lower risk of things like dementia.
I'd say that my faith is really important to me and gives me a hope and a purpose. And research shows that around half of the UK population find their purpose from their faith or religious beliefs, and 40% of those say that they come from some form of Christianity and the other 5% from non-Christian religions.
Harvard Business School professor John Jakimowicz says that one way to find your purpose in life is not to do what you love, but instead to do what you care about. Focusing on what you love associates passion with what you enjoy and makes you happy, whereas focusing on what you care about aligns passion with your values and the impact you want to have. What do you care about? If you can answer that, maybe you're on the way to finding out your purpose.
Lots of people find their sense of purpose through their job or the belief I am what I do. And between January and June of 2020, the weekly hours worked went down by 191.3 million. That's crazy, and no wonder why life was so hard at that time. I think it's so important to have hobbies outside of the work and school place, so I love to meet up with my dance mates and also friends from church.
Thanks, Adam and Destiny. So, we asked a few students this question: What advantages are there for knowing your purpose? Let's see what they said.
You can know like what direction you need to go in, but if you don't have a purpose, you might be a bit stuck on what to do.
It can definitely set you in the correct path for a career. So if you know your purpose, you know what you need to do in case of college studies, universities, or certain jobs you should go through for, say, experience.
I feel like loads of people often ask themselves, is there more to life than this, or why am I here, what's my purpose? And knowing that you have a purpose through Jesus Christ is so, how do I put it, it's just like having that solid knowledge that you're here for a reason and that you're loved by someone so much greater than anything on this world. It gives you a confidence that you can't explain.
If you know your purpose, you're not gonna let people walk over you, and it's gonna be easier to deal with like day-to-day like tasks and everything because you know what you want out of it.
I don't see how someone could go through life and not know what their purpose was, or just not even care, because there's no hope in that. There's just no meaning. You're just kind of aimlessly going through life. So when you know what your purpose is, even when things around you could feel like it's all going terrible and nothing seems like it's kind of working out, knowing that you have that hope and have that meaning and have that calling and have that purpose in your life, it just kind of can keep you going through all those times.
This is the world. Question: what kind of mark do you want to leave on it? If that's a tough question to answer, you're not alone. In fact, less than 50% of 35-year-old adults can articulate their purpose. But those that could showed greater physical health, better cognitive condition, better cardio functioning, they sleep better, live longer, are psychologically healthier, and have less depression, anxiety, boredom, loneliness, and disengagement, and more happiness, hope, and life satisfaction. And we'll come back to this one, but those who find their purpose in high school have a higher acceptance rate into college. Now, back to the question. What kind of mark do you want to leave on the world? The misconception is to hear that as, what do you want to do? That's the how. Finding your purpose is all about the why. Like, maybe you want to be a nurse, but why? Maybe it's because your purpose in life is to help people. Or maybe you want to be a journalist, and the purpose behind it is to let people know the stories that can influence progress around the world. This online toolkit was developed by academic experts over the last decade to help you find your purpose. Not a purpose, your purpose. And back to the college thing. When you know your purpose, every college admission essay you write changes from a challenge into an opportunity. You won't be another person in a stack of papers. So just get started. It takes just a couple hours over a few days. Days that will affect the decades to come and everyone you meet along the way. Because finding your purpose can help you do more than leave a mark on the world. It may help you change it.
Pablo Picasso was one of the greatest and most influential artists of the 20th century. He said this: "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." Maybe we should be asking ourselves, what giftings do I have? And how can I use my giftings to bless, encourage, and maybe even challenge others? You could be the next world changer.
Thanks, Lauren. Some really good challenges there. Why don't we just pause for a second and think? What would this world be like if we all contributed our gifts to help others?
So, what are your gifts? If you are still struggling to know what your gifts and passions are in order to find your purpose, why don't you try answering these 4 questions? Number 1, what have you already achieved? Have you won any competitions, been picked for the school play, received any awards or certificates? Or maybe you've helped someone.
What abilities do you have? Are you sporty? Do you bake the best brownies? Or maybe you are, I don't know, you like to beatbox a bit like...
Number 3, what are your ambitions? To travel the world, become a police officer, nurse, teacher, or world-renowned footballer? Ambitions don't always have to be about careers. They can be about becoming a better person.
And that takes us nicely on to number 4. What is your personality? Are you kind, loyal, honest, maybe you're trustworthy? These are great qualities to help you achieve your purpose.
It's always good to hear someone's personal story, and it's great to have this guy back on the programme. Yes, it's Josh Green from Social Beings.
You all right? Call me. When I was growing up, I really wanted to be a footballer, probably like most guys. And I don't know if you watch football sometimes and you think, that could have been me. I could do that. And then Kevin De Bruyne gets the ball and you're like, nah, I couldn't do that. Do you know what? The thing is about purpose, it's really difficult to know what your purpose is, especially when you're a younger person. People talk to you about what you should do when you're older. And I'm 31 now and I'm still thinking, I wonder what I'm gonna be when I'm older. But the thing about purpose is it comes from a deep-rooted place. Your purpose comes from who you are, your identity. And for me, when I was a young person in school, when I was 14 years old, I tried to end my life. I didn't want to live anymore. I struggled with getting bullied and my self-esteem and my self-worth. And that meant that I had no idea what my purpose was, what my reason for being alive was, why I was here on the earth. And when I was 18 years old, somebody told me about Jesus. And I sat there and I remember thinking, isn't Jesus just some made-up person? Is he actually really a real person? And this person was talking to me about the fact that Jesus is, not only was he a real historical person, but also you can experience him right now. And that really made a huge difference for me in my life. I started praying and reading the Bible, and I started to realize that God had a purpose for my life. And actually the Bible says that in Jeremiah 29:11, it says, God has a plan for your life, and it's a good plan. Years later, after working sort of my stuff out, I started to realize kind of what my purpose was. And I'm part of a band called Social Beings, and we go around the world performing and talking about our faith and actually talking a lot about purpose. And this one time we did a gig in a place called Finland. Now, if you don't know where Finland is, it's like right next to Russia. And the people are kind of a bit like Russians. They're kind of hard-faced. They're really nice, but they're like, yo, I am from Russia, but they're from Finland. Yeah, they're super cool. And we were doing a gig there, and we're getting the whole crowd jumping up and down, like if you imagine a Calvin Harris type rave going down. Me and my boy Ryan are on the stage going crazy, and the crowd's jumping up and down. And in the middle, there's this one girl just giving me the death stare. Now, ladies, you know all about that. You've got that stare that you give a boy when you are not happy. And trust me, as a guy, it's killer. Yeah? This girl's giving me the death stare, and I'm thinking, yo, she does not like this show whatsoever. Everyone else is having a good time, but she ain't having a good time. So after the gig, she comes up to me and she's like, thank you so much, I loved your music. And I was like, okay, I don't know if you're being sarcastic right now. And she started to show us the scars that she had on her arm from self-harming. And she started to say, I don't know what my purpose is for my life, but when you shared your story, it really helped. And it was an amazing experience. But the best thing about it was, 6 months later, we went back and did the same gig. And this girl was front row with a huge smile on her face, partying and loving life. And after the gig, she comes up to us with a huge smile still. And she was like, yeah, it was amazing, I love this show, but I want to show you something. And she had no scars on her arm anymore. And she just had a tattoo that said, I am here for a reason. And that's what we were saying the last time we were there. And you know, I started to realise that my purpose is helping other people find their purpose. So I want you guys to know today, no matter where you're from, if you're in Finland or if you're in England, your life has a purpose. You are amazing, that God loves you and He thinks you're awesome. You are unique. I want you to remember that today. My name's Josh Green, and this is my story.
As I said in the beginning, if you have any questions from this session, why not talk about it in your groups afterwards? Also, if your teacher or leader would like to extend this session, you can now access the questions that accompany this episode by following the link in the description on YouTube.
If you're personally struggling with any of the content, please do think of an adult you can trust and talk to them ASAP. Don't wait. There are some great websites and charities that we can signpost you to that can inform and support you moving forward. So why don't you check them out? Check out Young Minds, Lily Joe Project, Childline, and The Mix. Don't forget that many of the bands that you see on Message Today are live on their socials every night of the week. But Friday night is the special night as we go live on YouTube. So make sure you check it out.
Next week, we are back with the subject of grief and bereavement. But to close this episode, let's keep on today's topic and watch Brightline's music video called Purpose. We'll see you next week.
I love this song. We wrote Purpose in order to help other people find their purpose and identity. I hope you enjoy it. See you next week.
Mirror on the wall. Can you tell me you love me? Am I the least of all? So long I've been lost. Changing who I am. Who will notice I need to find where I belong? So long I've been following a crowd. I was hollowed till you found me. Caught up in my vices, but you see through all my disguises. You cut through the noise, I come alive at the sound of your voice. This love is crazy, so amazing.